Do you see the problem here?
Yes, but I don't want to.
Hey, welcome back. I hope you're doing well. So today I wanted to talk about why so many K-pop collabs fail. Okay, I did want to be more specific. I'm not actually talking about K-pop collaborations between K-pop groups or like other Korean groups. I'm mostly talking about collabs with international artists from different countries from all around the world. So there are many collaborations. Collaborations have actually been done for quite a long time. I would say they are becoming like more frequent, but I would say that with the frequency, it doesn't necessarily mean the collaborations are getting better, So I did want to say that there are some upsides to collaborations, and that is that you get good, more dynamic songs that are kind of more creative because they've come from people of two different countries, two different backgrounds and things like that. So obviously the production companies and all the artists can work together and make a very creative song that maybe wouldn't have been made otherwise. Also, they're good for publicity and they're good for sort of cross-pollinating the fans of different groups and different areas. So there are quite a few reasons for groups to do collabs, but I feel like, especially recently, I've been seeing collabs that just don't do it for me. Now, obviously everyone has their own opinion and there may be a collab that I don't like that you feel is great, which is fine. But I feel like there are collabs that I'm just like not as fond of. So one of the main things that I felt like was happening, especially earlier in K-pop, not so much now, but was the fact that a collab would be mentioned but never happen. That was something that I saw happening a lot where artists were like, yeah, I'm gonna work with this person, I'm gonna sing with this person, we're gonna do a performance together, and then nothing. Nothing at all. And pretty much all of the entertainment industry, there are TV shows that never happen and movies that never happen. And obviously that will happen for musicians as well, where they think they will be able to get together and then they just can't. But I felt like it was happening quite a bit in K-pop. Now I feel like some of the reasons are production company disagreements. For example, Rain was supposed to perform in America, which isn't really a collaboration, but he did sing with like Christina Aguilera and things like that. And the production company could not agree on terms. There were some controversies and basically the concert that he was supposed to perform just never happened. So I feel like a lot of times the production companies just can't come together. Also, artists have extremely busy schedules. They're touring all the time, and for them to stop at the same time and be able to make a project together just sometimes doesn't ever happen. But I did feel a little bit like sometimes artists were saying that they were going to do a collab just so they could say they were going to do a collab, but they never actually planned on doing that collab.
I don't have any comments.
Which brings me to my next point, and that is the fact that some of the videos that I've seen that are collaboration videos are just not very good, you know? I mean, some videos just seem like they have a bad theme. They're not well thought out. They don't really seem to match either artist in terms of tone or outfits or anything. And sometimes I feel like they're just sort of clashing, and I don't know why the project didn't come together. Obviously sometimes this could be partially musically, or it could just be the video and maybe they should have worked harder on the video because sometimes the song might be very good and they just didn't make a video that was as good for it. So that is something that I feel like I have seen as well. And that is also why I wanted to mention that they just seem very lazy sometimes. Sometimes I feel like groups couldn't get together, even though they might be two very big groups or performers. It seems like maybe the money isn't there and they're just sort of a lazy attempt at publicity for one group or both groups. Maybe the project that was put together wasn't even something that either of them wanted to do, and I feel like they're just sort of a lazy attempt at saying, hey look, we did this thing with these other people. Now, even though I am saying this, something that is interesting is earlier on in K-pop collaborations, I feel like the artists that were going to collab were actually more interested in working together than a lot of the artists that I'm seeing now. I feel like now I'm actually getting a little bit more of publicity collaborations than I saw in the past, and I think that's simply because in the past a lot of artists didn't know about K-pop, weren't fans of it, and the people who actually did the collaborations were people who were interested and liked the music and wanted to be a part of it. Even though in the past they might try and put a collaboration together and not be able to, now I'm seeing collaborations that are put together, but maybe they shouldn't have been put together because the people didn't actually want to work together or have anything in common in the first place. Another sort of pet peeve that I would have to say that I have is also seeing videos or performances where the other artist is cut out or edited out. So obviously for live performances, they're not necessarily going to be able to line up the schedules so everyone can perform together. I totally understand that. One thing that I am seeing though, which I don't like, is these weird multi-versions of a music video where sometimes an artist is in it and sometimes they're cut out. I'm not saying that I need to see them like throughout the entire video, but I just find it odd that there are so many versions where the featured person's in one version of the song and then they're not in the other version. It just feels uneven to me. If you don't want them in the video that they were singing for, then maybe they just shouldn't have made a collaboration in the first place. Like I said with the themes, that the themes aren't meshing, so they're trying to like put two different videos together or flip them in awkwardly, and I just don't feel like it's very streamlined. I really enjoy when the musicians make the song together instead of one group making the song and then going back and saying, hey, actually we want you to just do this little like 5-second part and then we'll just cut it in.
Do you see the problem here?
Yes, but I don't want to.
To our video later, but then sometimes we're not going to use that video. Like, just make a song, okay? If you want to do a collaboration, just make a song together. Obviously there are some times where someone will sing on an album or something, and I think for the radio that's totally fine, but for music videos it is just very weird to see like different versions with like people edited in and not. And I'm also seeing a lot of times where people are ignoring the fact that they've made a song with another person and then it just sort of gets advertised like they were the only ones who made it, even though it was a collaboration. It's just very odd, and I feel like before a collaboration happens, they need to discuss all of this and make sure that everyone's on the same page about like, the song and the fact that it's a collaboration and all of that type of stuff. And so that is another point that I had, which is something that I feel like I'm seeing, and that is who is really more popular. Obviously, I really like when groups are sort of even. I just feel like it is a better vibe, for lack of a better term. It's just better in the long run if they're sort of on even terms, and that way no one is doing anyone else like a favor. It is kind of odd when it's one person's song and not the other person's, or one group's song and not the other group's song. It is definitely of benefit to international artists to work with major groups, especially, you know, I've got to mention BTS because they do a lot of collabs and they're also very popular. It's not necessarily in BTS's best interest to do a collab with another group. Sometimes it's more of a benefit to the international artists than it was actually to BTS, but I feel like sometimes I'm seeing things in reverse. But now, especially on some newer collabs, and even for other groups, I'm not trying to like specifically mention groups if you notice, but I'm seeing people talk about like inviting them when it's really they're the more popular group and the person who's inviting them is maybe not as popular. So it just sort of makes this like awkward thing. So that's why I feel like it's better if the groups or individuals that are making the collab are sort of more even in popularity, and not only that, but are making the song together like from scratch. And that way the collaboration is definitely more even between the two artists.
Have to make sure everybody can do and do it right.
Okay.
And so that brings me to a collaboration that was done recently that I feel like was actually really, really well done. Now, obviously there are many other collaborations that are good, but this is just one of my most favorite recent collaborations. And that is, in case you couldn't tell, Ice Cream with Blackpink and Selena Gomez. Now, obviously that's why I've got my ice cream outfit on. Yeah, so. Now, obviously I do really like Blackpink a lot, and yeah, I listen to them a ton. I also listen to Selena Gomez and have listened to her for a long time too, so the collaboration was really just something that I enjoyed. But I do also have some other reasons, and that is the fact that it just seemed very streamlined, and that is why I really enjoyed it. I feel like they're sort of on the same level, and so it didn't seem like anyone was doing anyone else a favor. It also felt like they worked on the project pretty much from the beginning together, and that is what I loved seeing. Now, obviously they probably weren't working together like constantly in the same room or anything like that, but it definitely feels like they each took the other one into account the entire time they were working on the project. They are all in the music video together, even though they filmed it during 2020, which means they couldn't even be in the same country together. Yeah, I mean, that's a whole extra thing to deal with. They were doing similar dance moves and had similar vibes, and it felt very fun and very streamlined and very well thought out, which is super important in terms of collaborations. Also, if you've heard them talk behind the scenes, they both liked each other's music. These are just some of the reasons why I feel like Ice Cream was probably one of my favorite collaborations that has been done. If you have made it to this point in the video, just let me know, give me an ice cream emoji down in the comment section, because I would love to know if you'd made it this far. Also, what are your favorite collabs or least favorite collabs for that matter? Just let me know. What collabs did you like? What collabs didn't you like? So if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.